What's up everybody, Kyle here at Let's Talk Wax, and in this video we're going to be taking a look at the top 10 prospect performers from the Arizona Fall League and the 5 worst. Stay tuned. Alright, for you first time viewers on the channel, you can see I have a lot going on below in the Excel sheet. Now red text is going to indicate a good number and blue text is going to indicate a bad number. I also have some numbers in bold, so the bold red numbers would indicate the best number on the list and the blue bold numbers would indicate the worst number on the list. In the bottom right corner, you can finally see that I have a Let's Talk Wax rank, LTWR, and it goes from elite to bad. So before we get into our top 10 performances from the Arizona Fall League this year, let's take a look at the 5 worst performances from the Fall League. We're going to start off with Kyron Paris with the Los Angeles Angels, 21 years old, second baseman. He hit .218 with 24 strikeouts and no extra base hits in the Fall League this season. Now, he had the best season of his career in 2022 between High A and Double A. He hit 12 home runs, 20 doubles, and stole 33 bases, which is some pretty good output. Now, one thing to watch for sure are Paris's K numbers. He's about a 30% K rate at every level he's played at, and it's something to definitely keep in mind if you're trying to buy. You can find his Bowman Chrome autos in 2019 Bowman Draft for around 20 bucks right now, and he's a Let's Talk Wax rank of 4. Next on our list is Jason Dominguez, New York Yankees center field prospect, the youngest player on this list at 19.7 and probably one of the youngest players in the Arizona Fall League in 2022. Now, Dominguez had a pretty solid year in 2022 between 3 levels. He worked all the way up to Double A. He really did well in High A where he hit .306 with 6 homers and 17 stolen bases, but he struggled in Double A at the end of the season, and his struggles kind of continued into the Arizona Fall League where he hit a .159 with 17 strikeouts and 4 extra base hits. Now, I can definitely cut Dominguez some slack right here because of his age. Like I said, 19.7 is very young to be playing in the Fall League. I give Dominguez a 1.5 on the Let's Talk Wax rank, which actually increased from last year. I think I had him at about 2.5. And I'm pretty excited to see what happens with him next year, as I think he'll spend the full season in Double A. You can find Jason Dominguez Bowman Chrome autos out of 2020 Bowman, and they're still pretty expensive at around 400 bucks. Another rough performance in the Fall League this year came from Matt McLain, a shortstop prospect with the Cincinnati Reds. He's pretty old. He's 23.2, hit .190 with 31 strikeouts and 5 extra base hits. Now, McLain's production was pretty good in 2022. He had 17 home runs, 21 doubles, and 27 stolen bases throughout the entire year in Double A. But you can see his average dipped all the way down to .232. So McLain's looking a lot more like a speed power over hit prospect right now. And I'm really not sure what's going to happen with guys like Elly De La Cruz and Noelvi Marte in the red system behind him at the same position. I give Matt McLain a Let's Talk Wax rank of 3, and you can find his Bowman Chrome autos in 2022 Bowman for around 50 bucks right now. Now, the next 2 players actually made the Arizona Fall League prospect hot sheet in my previous episodes, but outside of those 2 weeks, they didn't do anything spectacular. Werner Blakely, 20.7, one of the younger players on this list. Los Angeles Angels third base prospect, would hit .206 with 30 strikeouts and 6 extra base hits. Now, it's interesting that Blakely was promoted to the Fall League after the season. He hasn't had any experience outside of A-ball, and he's got really high career K numbers. But the interesting thing with Blakely is he posted the highest OPS on this list at 917. And I actually went back and double-checked that stat, and it was true. He did post a 917 ISO in 2022, but it was in A-ball. So interesting prospect here. Not really sure which way to go with Blakely, so I ranked him a 3 on the Let's Talk Wax rank, and you can find his first Chrome models in 2020 draft for about 20 bucks right now. And finally, we're going to look at Gage Workman, Detroit Tigers infield prospect, 23.1 years old. Hit .193 this year in the Fall League with 24 strikeouts and 5 extra base hits. Now, there's a lot of bold blue in Workman's line, and that is not good. As I mentioned, the bold blue numbers mean it's the worst on the list. So in the 2022 regular season, Workman hit .225 with a 40% K rate and a 6.06 K to walk ratio. Now, there's a little glimmer of hope as a speed power prospect, but right now I just don't see Workman making enough contact to be an impact player at the major league level. He's currently on the chopping block on my autograph checklist breakdowns. You can see he is ranked as a CB, so he has been cut from that from the 2020 draft checklist, and he is our final ice cold player. There were some other guys that struggled a little bit in the fall league. MiLB Marte did not do too well, but these were the 5 worst that I found. Now on to our top 10 prospect performers. These were the 10 guys that I think had the best showing in the Arizona Fall League. I was going to do the 3rd Arizona Fall League hot sheet, but I figured it'd be more beneficial for you guys to see the top 10 performers from the entire Fall League. So we're going to kick this off with an honorable mention, as I do sometimes on the channel, because I can't quite fit all the guys I want to in the top 10. We're going to have Nick Gonzalez in that honorable mention spot, 23.5 second base prospect with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Now, he hit .279 with 3 home runs, 8 extra base hits, and 14 RBIs in the 2022 Fall League. And over the course of the 2022 season, he put up some pretty solid numbers. He hit .264 with a 171 ISO. Now, Gonzalez is a bit old, and he's always had kind of fringe K numbers, and I just don't see a wow factor right now with Gonzalez, but that's always subject to change if a guy can get on a hot streak in spring training, and I feel like Nick Gonzalez will be at big league camp to start the spring training this year, so he could have an impact if he gets hot in that aspect. But right now, he's just a 3 for me with his fringe K numbers and just kind of mediocre production. You can find his Bowman Chrome models in 2020 Bowman Draft for about $50 right now. At number 10, we have Grant Levine, a Colorado Rockies outfield prospect, 23.1, had a really good fall league, hit .328 with a home run, 10 extra base hits, and 11 RBIs. Now, there's really nothing exciting going on career-wise and during the 2022 regular season with Levine, but he did have an exceptional year in the Fall League. Like I said, guys like Gonzalez, these older guys in the 23s and 24s, when they have a good Fall League, that usually opens the door for an invite to big league camp. So Grant Levine could be one of those guys that we see in big league spring training with the Rockies. Right now, I give him a Let's Talk Wax rank 4, and he can be found in 2018 Bowman Draft for around $5 right now. At number 9, we have Austin Martin, who did show the ceiling of his hit tool in the Fall League this year. He hit .373 with a home run, 7 extra base hits, 11 RBIs, and 10 stolen bases. Now, Martin's another old player, 23.6 with the Minnesota Twins. He was traded this year. He no longer is in the Blue Jays organization. He's a hit over power guy. You can see he had the lowest ISO in the 2022 regular season on this list, and he didn't really hit for much average, so there really isn't a defining bat tool there. Now, the thing I do like about Martin, which could maybe make him a top of the order, maybe a leadoff or a 9-hole hitter in the future, are his excellent K numbers, 13.2 K percentage, a 1.12 K to walk ratio, and he stole 35 bases over the course of the 2022 season as well. So he's going to be able to get on base. He has the ability to make some impact on the bases as well. And he's just a guy that I think could be a solid to average big league player down the road, which is why I gave him a 4 on the Let's Talk Wax rank. Now, his autos were selling on release day for 2021 Bowman for around $600, and now they are all the way down to $35. So if you want to take a chance on Martin, it's the cheapest his autos have ever been. At number 8, we have almost an Austin Martin prototype on the infield. Will Wagner, 24.3, the oldest guy on this list with the Houston Astros. He hit .346 with 3 homers, 11 extra base hits, and 15 RBIs in the Fall League. And in the 2022 season, he really didn't do anything exceptional. He hit .261, a low ISO at 133, kind of like Austin Martin, are his exceptional K numbers. He had a 19.7 K percentage and a 1.46 K to walk ratio between high A and double A, but not a lot of production, only 10 home runs and 8 stolen bases. Will Wagner is also on the chopping block in my 2022 Bowman autograph checklist breakdown, so we are no longer tracking him, and I also cut the age off at 24 there as well. So he doesn't have an auto in 2022 Bowman, just a first chrome, and you can probably get those for about the cost of shipping. So if you're going to buy Will Wagner and take take a shot on him, I would buy some very low numbered color, or I would buy in bulk to save some money there. Now we're going to jump into some of the heavier hitters here, 7 through 1. We're going to start with Colt Keith, 21.2, Detroit Tigers infielder. Now, Colt Keith hits exceptionally well when he is healthy, and that's the big thing with him, is staying healthy. He put up .344 batting average in the Arizona Fall League this year, 3 home runs, 6 extra base hits, and 10 RBIs. In the 2022 season, he hit .301. He doubled his ISO from 2021 to .243 in 2022, and he's got immaculate K numbers. You can see he is pretty much red across the board, except for in the home run stolen base category, because he didn't get a ton of plate appearances. He was injured pretty much since the July in the 2022 season, and he kicked back up in the Fall League. So his home run to stolen base numbers aren't exceptionally high compared to some other players who had a lot more plate appearances. But I really like Colt Keith. His stuff's really starting to get expensive. It's unfortunate because I was trying to grab some of that maybe in the offseason, but a lot of people are catching on to what he's doing. He's a Let's Talk Wax rank of 1. He's been a 1 for a while on my breakdowns, and you can find his first chrome autos in 2020 Bowman Draft for about $40 right now. And wrapping this card up at number 6 is Andy Pages with the Los Angeles Dodgers. Another semi-young guy, 21.9. He's a corner outfield prospect. Hit .296 with 5 homers, 7 extra base hits, and 14 RBIs. Now, Pages did not really put up a very extraordinary hit tool in Double-A this year. He played the whole season in Double-A. He hit .236, but he did show up in the power department, putting up a .232 ISO, and he's got some of the best K numbers in the upper minors for guys who hit close to 30 home runs. So I can't really decide if Pages is going to turn into the slugger type, or if he's going to continue to maybe improve next year, hit for a little more average, and continue to hit for power as well. I'm just kind of tied between the slugger prototype and the really good bat. So I gave him a Let's Talk Wax rank of 2. You can find his first chrome models in 2020 Bowman for around $50. Now, before we get into our top 5, if you guys are into prospecting Bowman Chrome baseball cards and you want to support the channel, head over to my Patreon page. I'll put a link in the description of this video. I've got a lot of exclusive content over there, including Bowman autograph checklist breakdowns for all releases from 2019 to the present, a top 100 Bowman Chrome autos list, and a top 100 Bowman Chrome autos under $50 list. You get early access to all my video info over there, a monthly price tracker that tracks prospects, rookies, and sealed wax, and also some vintage cards as well. I have a private Discord server with over 150 members and free monthly giveaways. I'm giving away a hobby box of 2022 Pro Debut this month. So head over there, links in the video description if you want to support the channel. Kicking off our top 5 is Nick York, Boston Red Sox second base prospect, 20.6 years old, had a really good fall league after kind of falling off the map in 2022 during the regular season, and I'm really excited that he's kind of getting back on track and healthy. He hit .342 with 2 homers, 10 extra base hits, and 18 RBIs in the fall league this year. And as I mentioned before, he really struggled in 2022. He had some nagging injuries that may have affected his performance. He hit .232 with a .133 ISO, had the lowest OPS on this list at .668. The K numbers were fringe, and his production as far as home runs and stolen bases wasn't anything exceptional. So I actually dropped Nick York down to a 3 prior to the fall league, but hopefully he can regain some traction in 2023, and I can get him back up into the 1s and 2s where he was back in 2021. You can find his first chrome autos really cheap right now for about $80. I think they're the cheapest they were since 2020 draft released, and he was about a $15 auto, and they're really starting to trend back down. So if you want to take a bid on Nick York, now may be a good time to do it with an $80 auto. Like I said, his stuff was selling for, his base autos were around $200 coming into the 2022 season before he kind of tanked in high A. We have a big surprise at number 4, Tyler Hardman, New York Yankees third base prospect, 23.8. He hit .325 with 6 homers, 13 extra base hits, and 15 RBIs in the fall league this year. Now, take note that Tyler Hardman is 23.8, and most of the damage that he did in 2022, you can see he's got a 209 ISO, but the majority of that was done at high A, not double A, where he would have been age appropriate. He's got career K numbers that aren't fun to look at. You can see he struck out 30.6% of his at-bats in 2022 with a 3.55 K to walk ratio. He did hit 22 home runs, but as I mentioned before, the majority of those were in high A as a 23.8-year-old. He's a Let's Talk Wax rank of 5 for me. His autographs are in 2022 Bowman for around 20 bucks, and they've made a significant jump. I think they were around $5 or $10 before the fall league started. So if you're sitting on any big color autos, they probably increased in value by about 100% if his base autos did the same. So he may be a guy to look at if you've got in his collection, if you want to try to sell now or you want to hold until spring training, because he did have a good enough performance that may have earned him a shot at big league camp in 2023. Now to my top 3, and I really teeter-totted over these guys. I think I re-ranked them a few times since the video put out, and I also re-ranked them since I released the information over on my Patreon page for early access. So to all my patrons over there, I'm sorry that I did switch out a couple of guys in the top 3. They just all had really good performances, but I chose to put Kjerstad at the 3 spot just because of his age. 23.7, even though it was the first time playing baseball in 2 years with COVID and the 2021 season being taken away from him with the health issues. So he's 23.7, pretty much playing his first year of professional baseball. Hit 357 with 5 homers, 15 extra base hits, and 17 RBIs in the Arizona Fall League. Now, he also had the highest season batting average on this list at 309, but he did it between A-ball and high A. He has not played double A yet, but this could kind of be Heston Kjerstad's double A, just a smaller sample size being in the fall league, because that's the kind of competition that it really pans out to be. He had an 851 OPS in 2022, and he also had pretty solid K numbers. Now, I'm ranking Kjerstad a 2.5 out on the Let's Talk Wax rank, and he's another guy who could definitely make a showing in big league camp in 2023. So be aware of that. His autos are starting to increase quite a bit. He's in 2020 draft with a $75 base auto right now. At number 2, I have a super exciting player. He's going to be like a stick of dynamite, I think, to watch one day in the big leagues. Zach Veen with the Colorado Rockies is an outfielder, 20.9, one of the youngest players on this list. He hit 333 with a home run, 7 extra base hits, 10 RBIs, and 16 stolen bases. Now, Veen can absolutely fly. He stole 55 bases between high A and double A. Now, granted, the majority of those, almost 90% of them, were in high A, but it's still difficult to steal bases at that level, and he stole a chart-leading 55 of them in 2022. So Veen got promoted to double A. He didn't do too well. He hasn't really shown up in the power department yet, but he's very young and he still has time to develop that power. Now, if you guys watch my Predicting Superstars series, you know that the major league superstars right now had really low ISOs in the minor leagues. And power is usually the last thing to come, and with young guys playing at very high levels, it sometimes is skewed. You know, you see, look at Tyler Hardman's ISO at 209, but he was 23.8 playing in high A. Zach Veen's 3 years younger than Hardman with a 139 ISO playing at the same level. So kind of things like that, just the youth and the ability to grow into some power. He's a big, tall, lean kid, and he can put on some quality bats. So I would really look for the power to increase maybe in 2023 or 2024, but he's a really exciting player to watch right now. He's a 1.5 on the Let's Talk Wax rank. His Bowman draft 2020 base autos are around $100 right now. Now, I may be on an island with my number 1 player in the 2022 Arizona Fall League, but Jordan Walker is by far my favorite. He only hit 286, but he hit 5 home runs, had 11 extra base hits, and 17 RBIs as a 20.4-year-old playing in the Fall League. He played the majority of the season at 19 in Double A this year. He played the whole season in Double A, and he hit 306 with a 204 ISO and 898 OPS and really good K numbers. He had 19 home runs, 31 doubles in 2022, and that's all in Double A as a 19/20-year-old, because he did turn 20 in the end of the season. But he's put up back-to-back seasons of a 300-plus batting average and a 200-plus ISO. And I tried to be very objective, like I always do in my videos, and not really think about his 2022 regular season and kind of associate that with his Fall League performance. But for a 20-year-old to play in the Arizona Fall League, hit 286 with 5 home runs and 11 extra base hits and 16 RBIs. I thought that was pretty astounding. And I know he put up numbers very similar to Heston Kjerstad, just didn't hit for quite as much average. But he's also 3 complete years younger than Kjerstad. So that's my rationale behind Jordan Walker. And like I said, it would be a really fun debate in the comments to see who your top 3 were or where you would have these guys. And I'm pretty sure that we're all going to agree on the top 3 to a certain extent. So let me know in the comments where you guys think the top 3 should have been for sure. I ranked Jordan Walker as elite. He's the only elite guy on this list. His 2020 Bowman Draft base autos are nearly impossible to find. They are super short printed, and the redemption actually expires in about 2 weeks. All base auto redemptions expire in 2022 draft on November 30th. So be aware of that if you're sitting on sealed wax, but his base auto is selling for around $700 right now. And as I mentioned before, if you guys enjoy the channel and you want to find some extra exclusive content that will keep you busy for a while, check out my Patreon page. Lots of really cool stuff over there. A lot of Excel breakdowns and things like that. Links in the video description if you want to support the channel. And to everyone who supports me on Patreon, huge thank you to you guys. We're close to reaching 200 members in that community over there. And I want to give a special shout out to all my level 3 sponsors: Tom Barta, Max, Brad, Gary D. Childers Jr., Just Dingers Breaks, 909 Sports Cards, Greg Graham, JP Navarro, Nico Suave, Michael McDonough, Kenny Winkles, Larry Canterbury, Max Anthony, Jason Hall, Bobby Lynch, Bruce Wiley, Graham Cochran, Mike Barrier, and Numbered Cards. And who doesn't like free stuff? I'm giving away free stuff all throughout the year on my social media outlets, Facebook groups at Let's Talk Wax Baseball Card Prospecting Resource, and on Twitter and Instagram at Let's Talk Wax. I'm currently giving away 2 refractors of 2 of the top players in minor league and MLB baseball right now, Francisco Alvarez and Julio Rodriguez. So head over to my social media outlets and check those out for a free chance to win these cards. That's going to wrap up this video. If you guys enjoy my content, please subscribe to my channel. I appreciate all the support on Patreon and all the support from you guys who like the videos and subscribe to the channel. Have a great day and have fun out there in the prospecting world.